YouTube on a community, people who watch my channel to see what kind of records I've picked up lately, random people on the internet. My name is Giggens, and we're here today to talk about albums I've picked up over the last few months. Not a whole lot, but it's one of those things where I want to make an update video just to kind of show what I've gotten recently. So back in June, I was lucky enough to go see the Lonely Island in concert, which was really cool. If you don't know them, they're the gang from SNL that did like all those comedy songs like Mother Lover and stuff like that. But they have a lot of really funny albums, and they're really talented guys, and I think they're pretty good. So we got to see them for the first time. They don't tour ever, so this is their first like actual tour they did. It was super short. I think it was like a couple of weeks, but I got to see them at the Anthem in Washington D.C. First time up there, and it was a really nice venue. It was super nice. I mean, the people there were great who worked there. The crowd was good. The bathrooms were clean. It was a really brilliant looking place on the inside. So really high marks for the Anthem. So if you get the chance to see a show there, go for it. It's a really nice place. But I picked up their album Popstar on vinyl. Mondo just put these out recently with different covers. So this is for Thriller also. But yeah, some good songs on here. Not my favorite album by them by far. But just kind of nice to have it as part of the experience of having seen them in concert and something to remember that by. So that was kind of cool. But it's got like a Obi strip on the side, and there's the back cover there. But yeah, Andy Samberg is I guess you can call it the most famous member of the group, maybe, but because he was on SNL as an actual cast member. But yeah, so that's that one. So that was pretty cool to pick that thing up. Here we have another copy of Beach Boys in concert. I got this for a friend of mine actually because it's just in gorgeous shape and it was super cheap. I cleaned it up a little bit and it just looks fantastic. I mean, you can never go wrong with this album. It's just so much fun to listen to. Just a joy from start to finish. And it's one of those like classic 70s double album live things. It's one of those experiences you put on and just get lost in it for a while. Classic tracks like Leaving This Town, Let the Wind Blow, Sail On Sailor. I mean, they do some fantastic stuff on this album. So very cool and very stoked to give this to my friend pretty soon, now that it's been all cleaned up. This was cool. This is Suzy and the Red Stripes, Paul McCartney and Wings basically, but it's a promo for Seaside Woman. White label promo. Same song on both sides. I doubt one's like mono and stereo. They're both stereo. But yeah, that was kind of cool to find that one. White label promo of Suzy and the Red Stripes. You don't see that too often. This was cool. This is the Temptations' Masterpiece. I used to have this album, but I ended up selling it at one point because you go through periods of life where you need to make money to live and buy food and have a place to sleep. So a lot of it went to rent money back in the day. So I've sold a lot of albums, but this one was in incredible shape. It still has a plastic wrap on it. It's open, but the shrink is still on it. There's a sticker for a drugstore where this was bought at one point. Really nice shape. But it's got songs like Hey Girl, I Like Your Style, Masterpiece. Yeah, just a really, really cool album. This was the last of their, or beginning of the end of their Norman Whitfield era, where some of the songs would be like 12 minutes long of just like instrumentals, and the Temptations would jump in once in a while. But cool album. Very, very stoked to have that back. This was nice. I didn't know this existed actually. Best of the Lovin Spoonful Volume 2. I've never actually come across this before. Maybe I've seen it before back in the day, but maybe I forgot about it. But this was a really interesting pickup. The track list on this is basically the last two albums without. It's missing a song on here. I can't think of what it was. Yeah, it's supposed to come out like in the summer of '68 or something, but 6 O'Clock, Darling Be Home Soon, Nashville Cats, She's Still a Mystery, Rain on the Roof, Darling Companion, Money, Younger Generation. I mean, it's got some excellent stuff on here. So, very, very cool to have this. I'm a big Lovin Spoonful fan, so I have Volume 2, after having Volume 1 forever, and their other albums, of course, but that was cool. This one is awesome. This is the Beach Boys, their Surfin' album, but it's from Belgium. So very cool. I've never seen this before, but I picked it up because it was super cheap, and I like the font they chose for the Beach Boys name up there. But yeah, good picture of the guys at the bottom down there. Basically, it's a Surf and Safari album. But I'll show you the label here. which is actually interesting that it's on. It's made by Success for Pleasure, SFP, but the label it's on is a Purple Capital label, which is kind of cool. So yeah, late 70s anyway with something like that, I would imagine. So, very cool to add that to the collection there. Pop that back in its sleeve where it came from. Alright. A couple of new ones in here too. So we got the new Black Keys album, Let's Rock. There's a review of this coming up pretty soon. I really enjoyed this album. The first time I heard it, I was kind of like, it's alright. But the more I've played it, the more I've been like, oh, I see where they're going with this thing. So it's been a lot of fun to get into it. Some great songs on here, like Shine a Little Light, the opening track. Walk Across the Water is one of my favorite ones. Tell Me Lies is cool. Sit Around and Miss You. Firewalk with Me. It's a really decent album. And it comes with a couple of stickers on the inside, which I thought was cool too. But yeah, Let's Rock. Black Keys. Their brand new album. Their first one in like 5 years, I think, since Turn Blue came out. I really enjoyed it. Up next, the Raconteurs, however you say it. Help Me Stranger. Love this album. This is one of my favorite albums of this year too. Not a bad song on this thing. Some Days I Don't Feel Like Trying. Born and Raised. Don't Bother Me. Now That You're Gone. Sunday Driver. I mean, this is a really, really great album. And it sounds like them. It's good to have them back. You know, they really gel well as a unit. All four of these guys are super talented, so very cool to add that to the collection there. A review coming up of that too as well. This was a sweet find. So Velvet Underground's Loaded. I've never owned this on vinyl before, so I picked up a new to me issue of it on Rhino. But yeah, can't wait to play this thing for the first time on vinyl. Never owned it in any sort of format besides, I think I had the CD back in the day. But to have it on LP, on Rhino Records, can't go wrong there, man. And the last album I wanted to show is easily my, like, holy grail of the recent memory of buying records here. The Mooney Suzuki's Electric Sweat on Gammon Records. This is before they switched over to Columbia to have it reissued with a purple cover on CD anyway. So to find it on the original orange jacket on Gammon blew my mind. So I was so stoked to find this one. You got an extra song on here. You got Showtime Part 1, whereas the CD doesn't have that. And you got a nice picture of the guys covered in their electric sweat. And the back cover is a simple orange with a track list at the bottom. One of the most rock and roll raw records you can ever imagine. Just like straight up, you know, punk inspired, late 60s garage rock inspired, soul inspired. There's a lot going on here. And it lives up to the cover. It sounds like the cover looks. Fantastic. So really, really stoked to have that in there now. And the last thing I'll show is I got the Temptations made-for-TV movie that came out back in the 90s. I've always liked this movie. I thought it was done really well. You know, it used to be on YouTube for a long time, but it hasn't been there for a long time. So I wanted to pick it up because it's been so long since I've watched it, and I found it at an FYE for super cheap. It was like $6. So the made-for-TV movie of the Temptations, as it slides out of my hands. But it's pretty good. I mean, it basically highlights the ups and downs of the guys up until, I think, when Melvin dies. I think that's how far they go up to in the mid-90s. And Smokey Robinson is actually in this at that point in the movie to kind of recreate what happened at Melvin's funeral, as it's been told. But yeah, the Emmy-winning miniseries, The Temptations. So very cool to have that. That's it. Those are my recent finds in the last couple of months here, and you know, more reviews coming, but wanted to jump in and make a quick video to talk about what I've picked up and what I'm going to be playing pretty soon on the TIAC over here this afternoon. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Giggens. This has been what I've picked up lately, album-wise, and that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video.